Hello, this is Jean Marie Ward for BuzzyMultimedia.com. With me today is Chelsea Quinn Yarbrough, a true living legend and national treasure. She is a living legend, according to the International Horror Guild. She's also a winner of the Bram Stoker Lifetime Achievement Award, and she's probably the woman responsible for giving us the vampires we have today. Welcome, Quinn.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay. I have to ask, first off, your current book for Saint-Germain, An Embarrassment of Riches, is set in Bohemia in roughly 1269 through 1272. What was so compelling about 13th century Bohemia that you had to have an adventure there?
Well, it's more a question of it's been referenced in other books, and occasionally I like to catch up with what I've referenced. And that period in the high medieval culture, of course, was very different in Eastern Europe than it was in Western Europe, and most people are only familiar with Western Europe if they're familiar with it at all. And the other factor was that for a long time the economic system was based on an exchange of service, or occasionally trading in goods.
Mm-hmm.
But since the Roman Empire collapsed, they hadn't been doing much with money. But Bohemia had an awful lot of gold and silver, which they began to mine industriously, and brought money back into the whole equation. And from that point on, the turn back toward a money-based economy had, what was underway and continued right up to the present day.
Ah. So possibly they re-influenced Western Europe by when the Crusades sent people to and from Bohemia, through them, I should say.
Oh yeah, it was good to be on the route and be able to, collect money from it. But the other thing that it was really nice to do is it meant that you were the ones that set the, the monetary standards. And their only competition was the Venetian ducat.
Mm-hmm. So that could be very important, and where there is money, there is greed, conflict,
yes,
and adventure. That's certainly true. You have written 25 books in recounting the life, or unlife, of Saint-Germain. How do you keep the timeline straight?
I have about a 20-page chronology on him, and I go in and revise it constantly because things keep happening. And there are references, or I work on another book and I have to fit it in and make sure that I don't do anything that contradicts what I've said up to that point, and at the same time doesn't contradict any of the other information that's happened in the stories.
Yeah, it must be a very big... I bet the type on 20 pages is really, really small.
11-point.
Ah, yes. 11-point Courier or 11-point Times Roman?
Can't stand Times Roman. No, it's 11-point Garamond.
Ah, yes, okay. When you started to write about Saint-Germain, did you realize you would be embarking on an epic history of Western civilization, or that you would be rewriting it from a feminist bent?
Well, the feminist bent was my original intention. And I had planned 5 books, the first 5, Hotel Trans, The Palace, Blood Games, Path of the Eclipse, and Tempting Fate. And that was to take him through a full cycle of various sorts of relationships with women, including, of course, a kid. And as a result, when I got to the end of all that, and my editor had left, it sort of fell away. And when I came back to it, it was a matter of taking a look at everything that he had said in those books and looking for spots to start relocating him.
Yes, I know, and you have taken up the story of some of the women in his life,
mm-hmm,
with whom you shared the gift. And I believe one of your characters was a Roman matron who had a real downturn in fortunes when the Christians came along.
Oh yes, well, all women did. I mean, up to that point, Olivia had legal rights, and one of the reasons she's so brusque from time to time and has a tendency to get really, really pissed off is because all those rights that she had when she was alive and breathing are being eroded steadily to the point that they don't exist anymore.
Yes, it was hard to be a woman in the Middle Ages.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But Saint-Germain, well, I should say, I was about to ask about some of your other writing, but before we go there, I do want to ask, what's next? I understand you have another book in the works?
Next March, the 25th book comes out. It's called Commedia della Morte, and Madeleine de Montaille is one of the featured characters in it. So it's, you know, back to old friends, as it were.
Well, when you go with a 25th book or a 25th anniversary, as we have here at DragonCon, you pretty much have to go back with your old friends. It only makes sense. It is a celebration. But Saint-Germain isn't the only arrow in your quiver.
Oh, no.
You've written nonfiction, you've written mystery and westerns, and you've even done the spot of ghostwriting. What are you doing in those areas right now?
Well, I've got a mystery novel that I'm working on. I have no idea who's going to buy it or even if it's going to find a home, but I'm working on it, and that'll be fun. I like doing mysteries because they are a change of pace, and they keep my head fresh. And there's a science fiction trilogy I would love to write, just love to write, but I can't get any. I haven't found a publisher yet who goes, oh goody, I really like this, I get it. So we'll, you know, but it's alternate history, and since history is my long suit, I like to play to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, certainly alternate history, especially as it gets into the 19th century and those things that can be steampunked. But hey, even Eric Flint's 1632 is doing very, very well these days, so fingers crossed you will find somebody. Are you planning any more books on Mycroft Holmes?
Well, those I did with Bill Fawcett, and so far as I know, there's been no interest in reviving the series. I wouldn't mind doing one, but you know, you've got to have somebody on the line who wants it.
Weren't those Quinn Fawcett books the only ones approved by the Doyle estate?
Well, they were approved by the Doyle estate, but you know, there were other books that had been approved by the Doyle estate because you couldn't do anything using any of the Doyle story bases without going through Dame Jean, and she had some pretty high standards, and you know, you better toe the mark. I mean, we had some restrictions on us. We could not have Sherlock Holmes in the stories as a character at all. We could refer to him obliquely, and we could not have anyone connected with the royal family.
Mm-hmm. And those, if your readers want to find them, are under the name Quinn Fawcett, correct?
Yeah. We originally did them just as a simple collaboration, but you know, there was this terrible feeling back then that collaborations don't sell. So, you know, we came up with that, and I'm saying I don't think this is going to fool anybody, but there you go.
Hey, it didn't. Hopefully, it didn't fool anybody, so that they bought the book. What, in terms of an interview, you never know everything you need to ask. What should I be asking you? What do you want to talk about?
Well, you know, after this much DragonCon, it's a little hard to sort it out, but I think the thing that a lot of people are aware of but don't necessarily align with is the current and continuing upheaval in the very nature of the publishing industry. And it's going through this incredible redefinition and expansion, and it, you know, there are some people who seem to think that once we get e-books and e-publishing done, that's the end of it. Don't be silly. Mm-hmm. You know, if that's just the beginning. Whatever is over the hill from there, we'll find out when people get a little more used to the idea that what you get is the format. You know, you don't have to be stuck with print if you don't want print, but you can have print if you want print. And I think that, you know, 10 years from now, the way that books are presented and handled, distributed and sold is going to be radically different than anything we're talking about even now.
I agree with you on that one. Speaking of which, are any of your formerly out-of-print titles now available online or in e-books?
There are some. They're coming back slowly. And of course, I did 3 books that were only published as e-books. 10 years ago, and they're still available.
Okay, could you give the titles on that?
Magnificat and Alas, Poor Yorick. Guess who that's about? And In the Face of Death. And they're done by Hidden Knowledge Press, which is hidden-knowledge.com.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
Well, I would love it if, people decided they wanted to start reading the entire Saint-Germain series and felt compelled to go out and buy every single book in it, and as I continue to write more, to add to it. I mean, that would be just delightful and wonderful.
How many, do you know how many you have planned, or do you have a plan?
Well, at this point, I have proposal in for 2 more,
Mm-hmm.
Which would be, 26 and 27. And one of them is early 13th century, and one of them is mid-20th.
Mm-hmm.
So
coming up into our own period. Now that would be interesting.
mainly it's dealing with the McCarthyism period and all that went with that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Relatively current history
Mm-hmm.
that keeps resonating down the
Whether we like it or not, there it is. Yep.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for talking with us today.
You're very welcome. Thanks for asking me.
My pleasure. And thank you, viewers, from BuzzyMultimedia.com.